All right, Carmine, ready to go.
Yep,
Thanks for jumping on and joining
no
us
problem.
here. Obviously, keeping an eye out on these headlines, but there's a CBS report out, as we all know, about 2 hours ago, suggesting that the letter for firing Powell had been written. I would always assume that it was going to occur over Truth Social myself, but um, it made the rounds, definitely rattled the markets. Now, the markets were certainly vulnerable sitting there at that weekly pivot. We'd seen some weaker price action over the last couple of sessions, and breadth had been deteriorating. And of course, we had some of the weaker reactions to earnings, strong bank earnings that saw some sell the news. And then we also, of course, saw that ASML guidance coming out that rattled tech, and naturally it was narrow leadership. So the market was vulnerable to what was going on. But I guess the question is, anything in this story pique your interest in terms of anything new, or is this just kind of an add-on to things that we've been seeing?
Yeah, it's a little new. So I think what happened here. So if you remember, this kind of ties in a little bit to the crypto talk that we had earlier. Remember, I said that he met with Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few other Republicans, and they because they weren't supporting the crypto bill originally, and he wanted to get them to yes. And now we have this story that he told all these Republicans, told him that he should fire Powell, and he said actually what it was is he asked them, you think I should fire Powell, and they said, oh yeah, you should definitely do that, Mr. President. It if you put two and two together, it wasn't like a group of centrists that was telling him
Yeah.
this. It was Marjorie Taylor Greene and Chip Roy and a few other people from the Freedom Caucus that were whoever he was meeting with yesterday from the Freedom Caucus that was telling him to do this, right? So basically, I think this is how it went. He got him in, and he started complaining about Paul, and he said, what do you guys think? Should I fire him? He said, yeah, you should fire him, Mr. President. And he said, yeah, you know what, I might do that. I think that's how it went, and then it kind of leaked out, and in the end, I think they leaked it out a little bit of on purpose because they wanted to put up a little trial balloon to see how the markets would react. And the markets reacted negatively. The bonds shot up, and I don't think they want to see that. So that's why the president came out and said, hey, I'm not really considering it. It'll be very. He said it would be very unlikely if he did, and so forth. So I think that's when the markets, recovered. I will say that Trump, if you studied him throughout his tenure, the 10 years now since he's been in the public eye, he never rules anything out. So, like, if you make a lot of the people in the media are making a big deal that he didn't say he would rule it out. He doesn't rule out anything. I guarantee, if the reporter asked him if you would bomb Moscow, he would say he wouldn't rule that out either. So he just doesn't rule anything out. So, that's just the way he operates. It doesn't mean he's going to do it. It's just he just likes to keep his options open, so to speak. So, uh, you know, but yeah, I'm still in the camp that that's not going to happen. But it's more likely than it was a week ago. That's for sure. So I will say that. But like I said, I think the market reaction, they saw that, they saw the long end. Because one of the interesting things is you obviously understand this very well, Gavin. But just for the audience, just for purposes of the audience that might not, if the long bonds go up, Trump's not going to get his wish about mortgage rates going lower. He talked about, how people want to have lower mortgage rates so you buy a house. Well, if he puts, somebody, if he fires Paul and the long rates go up, then the mortgage rates are going to go up with that, and he's not going to have that benefit. So, I think they saw that, and that's part of the calculation as well, that they wouldn't even get what they wanted if he went ahead and did it. So, I'm still, like I said, I'm still in the camp that it's not going to happen, but it's more likely than it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, closely monitoring this. And I agree with you. The bond market's going to have the final say in this,
Yeah,
Carmine.
absolutely. Yeah.
Just kind of looking at the past, what's happened with Turkey, I'm sure they're following that pretty closely. Now, there was reports about a group of the House Financial Services Committee going to meet with Powell tonight.
Yeah,
And from
that's
my
true.
understanding, what I was seeing in the reports was that this would be for a vote of confidence. So,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
is there a point at all where this would come down to a vote on Powell? I'm assuming no, but I don't.
No,
I know the only way you can fire him is with cause, and I
yeah,
guess they're trying to use the renovations as a with cause. I mean, I suppose if you're looking at anybody in the government going over budget, you could pretty much fire anybody in the government with cause, right? So what would that look like exactly?
yeah, that'll be played out more in the courts, but I think it's important for Powell to have that meeting and kind of shore up support among that group. Because, like I said, that group, the Financial Services Committee, I think there's a couple people from the Freedom Caucus on there, but they're mostly, people that pretty well understand the process and probably would think it's a bad idea, at least privately, to fire Powell, right? So I think it's smart for Powell to reassure his support of the group. I think it's very unlikely that the people that Trump met with yesterday were on the Freedom Caucus. And like I said, if you look at the reports, he met with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Chip Roy, and a few other people, and those people are not on the Financial Services Committee. So that's I think it's smart for Powell to lock up support among those folks. But I think if Trump met with those people, he would probably hear a different kind of a different message, so to speak, coming from those when he asked about it. So
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll know the audience that he's talking to
right.
when doing this. So, if you had to guess, Carmine, is this letter written and just kind of sitting in his desk like an Abraham, like a Lincoln letter?
Yeah, I think it's sitting in the drawer at a Resolute desk, and he likes letters. I mean, he likes with the terror.
He does like the letters, as we've seen.
Yeah, so
Come July, do you think while we're watching Powell in his press conference that there's a Truth Social tweet about him being fired if they don't cut?
no, I just don't think so right now. I mean, there'll be Truth Social posts complaining that he's not cutting rates. That'll be, there'll be tons of those, but I just don't think that it's going to happen right now. I might change my mind, but that's what I'm sticking to at this point.
All right, that sounds good, Carmine. Anything else on this topic?
No, that's pretty much it.
While we have you on, any updates on the stablecoin vote?
Yeah, so the first procedural vote passed, um, or advanced to the House. Now they're doing the second procedural vote. Right now it's stuck. 16 members haven't voted. I don't know if they're out to lunch or what, but it's a 201 to 211 against, and 16 Republicans haven't voted yet. So once those folks vote, I'm sure it'll probably go the same way as the first procedural vote, and then
Are
they'll
those 16 holding out for something like
they
Murkowski
might
or?
be. Yeah, they might be. So I think Jake Sherman was talking about how they're talking to the president, so they might get some future. You know how this works. These future commitments. So down the road on something. So I think, but in the end, though, it'll pass. Once the procedural vote passes today, then the actual vote will be tomorrow.
Okay, great, great. All right, Carmine. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and taking the time to meet with us and taking some time out of your busy day. So we'll be in close contact if anything exciting happens, of course.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kevin. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.